What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the RC Guru YouTube channel. Today, what's on the bench? You know what's on the bench? A Tf2, long wheelbase Tf2. And we got Mr. Holmes, John Holmes, our good buddy. He's in a 2-in-1 crawler. His brand new 2-in-1. We're going to do some testing with it. This is his new 2-in-1. It's a 10 pole, 2300 kV. As you can see, I had to put a few extensions on them. Now, everybody won't have to do this, but you'll see why this Holmes equipped truck is really nice already, and I want this to make it nicer. I don't want it not to make it nicer. You see drab shocks on it. It's got SSD diamond axles, all the brass. This is not a heavy truck. This is a fully built truck. And we want the best for it. And take our body off. We'll set that off to the side. As you can see, it's got a CrawlMaster. A 12 turn. You can't really see down in there to the stator, but if you could, oh, you can see how worn it is in there. Anyway, I got my $20 worth out of this beautiful motor, but you can see what I'm talking about. It's a clean setup for what it is. Now, the 2-in-1 should make this cleaner. So, I guess all we can do is put you guys up on the tripod, and first thing's removal. Alright guys, welcome back. Got myself a chair. So today, we're going to install the Holmes Hobbies 2-in-1 into my Tf2 long wheelbase, and the first thing we got to do is remove all this nicely done stock electronics. You have to excuse me, I got a little throat cold, but yeah. So first thing we'll do, we'll pull the motor out first, and you just need a 2mm wrench. Sometimes the small wrenches are good to get in tight places, especially if you want to start the process, because a lot of the times your normal drivers, the ends are kind of worn down on them a little bit. I keep a little stockpile of these. I have, come off table. I keep a little stockpile of these whenever the normal tools kind of fail on you. Anyway, so pull that motor out. Super easy, right? And you can tell, you can look at it right here. There's a twist tie here. There's a twist tie here. There's a twist tie here, and there's a twist tie here. I'm going to cut all those twist ties, and it should release the motor. We can get that from here. There we go. 1, 2, and yes, that one as well. Hey, come on in. What's up? What's up? Come. What's up, puppy? Oh, you good girl? So that's little Miss Mini RC Guru there. That's our Chihuahua. See her walking around. She's in some of the videos. Okay, so you pull this is a brush motor. This does not come stock. This is the Holmes Hobbies CrawlMaster Sport 13 turn. Still has lots of life left in it. It's a brushed motor. It's a 550 in size. This is a 540. Doesn't really make a whole lot of difference. But yeah, so pull them apart, and then you got your motor. You can just set that aside, use that in another build, and then pull the ESC wires back, because the Holmes Hobbies is now a 2-in-1. We have no need for this ESC in the back anymore. And we also need to open up our receiver box right here. So that's just started, because we have to get at our receiver. I want to set up the aux function on the 2-in-1, so that my Tf2 has 2 different modes. Put that garbage out of the way there. Okay, so that's what the inside looks like. It's got no motor in it right now. And this is the old, it's a 1060, I believe. I think they call them Outcry. Anyway, it's a waterproof ESC. It's a good ESC. Lots of wire there. Anyway, we'll have to cut this tie wrap to get it removed. But here's what it is. We make tie wraps every day, and we can get more. We got more right here. So, removal process. This fella right here, that was just an extension for lights. Might need that yet again. Okay, and then another tie wrap. And then another tie wrap. Alright, let me just... Alright, great, excellent. You guys are still recording? Perfect. Okay, everything's fine. Great. So, now we got all our wires loose. That's for our steering and speed control. Let's see here. Look at the length on that, it's not very long. Cool. So that goes to an extension, that goes to an extension. We're keeping the servo. We're just getting rid of this. This is a power wire that needs to be removed. Power button, I mean. And then normally if you just twist them, sometimes they come right out. And sometimes you have to kind of put underneath them with a piece of plastic or a screwdriver just to break the foam tape. We'll clean all this up afterwards. This is just to show you how to remove the factory system and put in something new. So that's just a decorative sticker on the side. It says waterproof 2.3S LiPo, switch mode BEC, 6 volt, 3 amp. So it's good to know that. Outcry. There it is on the bottom. Outcry 3. Outcry 3 waterproof ESC. There's nothing wrong with this if you're running a brush setup. We're just upgrading. So put that with your motor. Blow the dust off the old girl. Now we'll install the new Holmes motor. Now with this truck, it's going to have an engine bay. We're going to do a whole how to detail an engine bay series on it. So if it's going to have an engine bay, that means that this bump, we need to try and get the bump down. And we will need those extensions to keep everything in that RX box in the back, which is fine. That's what I want. Okay, so looks like this is just going to be super easy. We're just going to put it just like that on its side, and we're going to use the same 2 screws that came out right here, and the other one's still in there, wasn't it? Yeah, still floating in the bottom. So you just look and you find your screw holes that Holmes puts in there. Find one that suits you the best. Start the bottom one. There's when you're installing a new motor, there's usually like a pinpoint, and the top hole will be oblong, so you can like roll and adjust the motor to get your pinion over to meet your spur. This one's like that, so it has a screw that goes directly in the bottom. You want to put that like 80% tight, and then the one on the top, you want to get it in there just in its home to pull it forward to make sure it's lined up with your spur and pinion. Now, spur and pinion mesh is very important, and the way I do it is I just make sure they just have a little tick-tock between them when I'm running 32 pitch. Okay, hear that? That's what I mean about the tick-tock. So that's probably perfect mesh right there. Or if you can't get it to do that, just take a piece of paper, cut it in a strip, put it in there, slide it over, and then move the truck just a little bit so the strip stays in there, but you know what I mean? So the strip does the whole spacing for you. Now, as I'm tightening this, you'll see I'm rolling it back and forth because I'm checking to see if the motor stayed where I put it. And right now it looks like it has, so that's good. And then I'm going to go back to my small Allen keys because I don't want to over torque anything. Sometimes in and around the motor, when you're going with hand tools, you can really crank on it and hurt something bad. So there's the 2-in-1. It's basically done right now. We just plug it in and we could start driving it if we didn't care about how the wires work. And if I didn't want to extend any of these, I'd just take this plate and I would flip it around. I'd flip this plate around and I would take the RX controller and I would put everything right there, and I wouldn't have to extend everything. But because I personally want to extend them back to the RC box, I have to put extensions on them. It's not any fault of John's or anything else. Also, if you're running a BEC, you can plug that in right here, which is groovy. So I'm sneaking these wires down as much as I can, away from any problems and trouble. And it looks like it kind of just is what it is. If you're ever pushing on wires with screwdrivers, try and use the back side of the screwdriver where it's not the pointed edge. You're trying to just squeak them wires in. You're trying to push them in between A and B. Don't stab them. Don't stab them. That's not good. Okay, so our power, we know our power is going. It's going right there. And now we have 2 wires with this one. We have our signal wire for the ESC, and then we have our auxiliary. And we are going to utilize both of them. So auxiliary, we're going to put into channel 3. And it's going to be just the push button on the Fly Sky. So it's just like changing mode 1 and 2, which it's actually doing. So 2 extensions out. The rest of that wiring can come in here. Of course, they have to run on the long side and cross over. That's fine. Yeah, no, that's fine. Alright. And a little trick, if you put your Fly Sky on the side, then it doesn't, the Rc4wd drive, the box will have a big hump in it. It doesn't actually have enough space, top to bottom. here's a tip. Before you close it up, take a paint marker, and I put extensions on those, right? But how am I going to know what these are? So I'm going to say this is channel 3. And this is channel 2. And there. Now we know. Put that back on its side. Lay the wires in the opening. Place the top on the receiver box. And then just put your plastic screws back in. If they want to cooperate and go back in. That one did. There we go. Now, so number 2, okay, number 3 is our momentary switch. It's for the yellow guy, the auxiliary. I call it this yellow, see, yellow wire turns to a white wire, but it's still yellow. So we will put it to the white. See how that just popped out? Another thing you can do is if you're worried about these popping out, you can put a piece of heat shrink over them, and then they'll never come apart. And then we have our speed control wire going into channel 2. Right there. Okay. And now I'll get a few tie wraps. Something like that. There's a tie wrap thing here. Okay, so do this up nice and quick, like do it from this side. We'll get all this stuff first. None of this stuff will be moving. And that's not hitting any, nothing rotating. And then this needs to be pinned down. Look at that, that fell out again. That's why these need to be definitely tie wrapped. Okay, that's that. And then the last part is just how OCD do you want to be? The best spot for that's probably right here. There. That's the CrawlMaster in the Tf2. Now I'm going to put a battery. I guess we gotta take this thing outside and test it.